We got a lot to discuss, guys. Brandon Graham, a lot to discuss regarding his injury. How are the Eagles going to replace Brandon Graham? They're just not going to do it. But what can the Eagles do to kind of give some percentage back on what Brandon Graham brought to the edge position? I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. The Eagles did sign a defensive end the next day, yesterday. And we're going to be going over the off the street free agents. We're going to be going over everything regarding what can they do defensively that could kind of help this edge rush position until Bryce Huff comes back in, 4 weeks. We'll see what happens. Let's get straight into it.
A killer buried, but not dead.
Darren, we better turn around. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Look at these results. People are making free money. They're making thousands every month betting on sports completely risk-free. The secret, they're using OddsJam. OddsJam isn't just another betting app. It's turned the entire system in your favor. Here's how. OddsJam uses a strategy called arbitrage, finding odds differences across sports books. You bet both sides, and no matter the outcome, you will profit. Here's an example. If you put $500 on Boise State to win on FanDuel and $335 on their opponent, San Francisco, on DraftKings, you'll guaranteed to make $50, win or lose. It's that simple. With the OddsJam mobile app, you'll get real-time alerts on these opportunities every day. People are making thousands monthly. And to get you started, use code Joey for 35% off and a 7-day free trial. I guarantee you'll profit during the trial, and if you don't, cancel with one click. No questions asked. Don't leave money on the table. Go to oddsjam.com, use code Joey, and start making money the smart way. All right, so we have a lot to discuss, guys, regarding the Philadelphia Eagles. What the Eagles are going to do with the Brandon Graham injury. How do you replace this? And, guys, you can't replace this. I think we all know this. Seems like this has shadowed over this win that we had. We're 9-2 right now, and it seems like Eagle fans were, look, I get it. It's Brandon Graham. I understand, to go out like that. He had his best game in probably the last couple seasons, counting this year, and it was absolutely fantastic. But to see that happen to him at the end, and then he's out for the rest of the season. This is the leader. This is a voice. This is a guy that a lot of these defensive linemen and the rest of the team really looks up to. And to lose this, it was devastating. It really sucked. It kind of made everybody. It put everybody down. It put everybody down just a little bit. So, this is definitely a move. We're gonna have to figure out what is the best combination for the Philadelphia Eagles as of right now. What are they going to do regarding this edge rush position? Because Bryce Huff has minor surgery. He'll be out for another few weeks. And Bryce Huff isn't something, but it's definitely, at least it's something, you know what I mean? Maybe he'll play better once he has the surgery and comes back. Now Brandon Graham is out. What do you do here? So the possible things that could happen. Now, one thing that did happen the day after the game is that they did sign a defensive end to the practice squad, and it says the Eagles are expected to sign defensive end KJ Henry to their practice squad. Source says a 5th-round pick of the Commanders last year. Henry was let go by Dallas the other day and cleared waivers today. Philly adding depth on the edge after losing Brandon Graham for the season. So I have no idea who this is. I have no idea. With Washington, with Dallas, was let go by Dallas, and that's it. Do I see this guy having any playing time? Probably not. They're just adding more depth there. We have to remember as well that Teron Jackson, another Eagles pick that, went to a couple teams, I think, came back. So we drafted him a few years ago, 5th, 6th-round pick. So this is another guy. He's actually had some starting experience on some other teams, but, this could be a move that they could bring him up to the active roster this week. So that's definitely something else. They need to, obviously, they're doubling down in this edge rush position, at least on the practice squad. They're going to have to let somebody go for this KJ Henry kid to come on, because I think they have, 16 practice squad members right now. I think that's the max, I'm not really sure. So they'll probably have to let somebody go off practice squad to make some room for him and to double down on this edge rush position. Look, it's already that you don't have Bryce Huff playing, okay? And Teron Jackson, he had 9 snaps in the 4th quarter.
against the LA Rams. I mean, why aren't they giving this guy any snaps? Like, what's the problem here? The week before that, he had 20-something snaps. We were promised from Fangio, promised from Nick Sirianni that he was earning more playing time. Okay. And then he has 20-something snaps, and he goes into this game with 9 snaps in the fourth quarter. Like, what are they afraid of? Why aren't they playing this guy more? Like, I don't have any type of analysis on him because we haven't done nothing with him yet. And it's gonna take him time. So I understand if you have like your reps were depleted from 20 to from 25 to 20 in like a game. Okay, that's no big deal. But you're talking like 23 reps to 9? I mean, that's just ridiculous. Ridiculous. And yes, he plays special teams, but they got to do something with this guy to see what he's got. He's what, our third round pick? I mean, really, he's a mid-round pick that deserves at least to get a shot. It's going to take more than a week. It's going to take a few weeks. The longer you do this to him and mess with his snap count, I don't think we're going to see much from him until like the offseason and kind of hit the restart button yet again to see where he's at, because they're messing with his snap count, which I didn't even know that he only had a few snaps in the fourth quarter. It wasn't even much. A few things the Eagles can do, okay? And I think this makes sense here. Some of it makes sense, some of it doesn't. Okay, I think you could do something with Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Okay, if you run 5-man fronts, you want to put Zach Bond as an edge rusher, because Zach Bond was a edge rusher with the Saints, transitioned to an outside linebacker as a role player. But because we know that Zach Bond can do it. The problem with Zach Bond moving to edge is that then you lose a linebacker, and yeah, he could drop in coverage and stuff, but I don't want to make Zach Bond a full-time edge rusher. We need him at linebacker. We can't afford to move him full-time on the edge. So why not get Jeremiah Trotter Jr., see what he could do on the edge? Maybe convert him into an edge rusher. Maybe, I don't know, something. I don't see why it would hurt so much. I would give him a shot. Maybe he'll become really good at it. I don't know. Ben Van Simmeren maybe at linebacker. Take one of those linebackers. I know Ben Van Simmeren's been doing. He hasn't really done a lot of fullback the last couple of weeks. Prior to the last couple of weeks, he hasn't really. He's done a lot before the last 2 weeks. But right now he hasn't really done much the last 2 games. So Ben Van Simmeren could be something that they could use. Trotter Jr. I mean, I'm just thinking I'm just thinking off the top of my head what they could do here, because you're not gonna, if someone can at least give you like, I don't know, 20% of what Brandon Graham could do, you're not going to get all of that back. And I think the one thing you're missing that Brandon Graham really gave to this team as an edge rusher in a heavy rotation at 34, 35 years old right now is he's really good against the run. Really good. And he's definitely shown that in past weeks, and this was his best game. So moving a backup linebacker to the edge, Trotter Jr., get him some playing time. I mean, I don't see why this would be a big problem. The problem I have with Milton Williams right now is a lot of Eagle fans were talking about, well, let's move Milton Williams to the edge position. No. I think the Eagles have a good player in him, and I think they need him at DT. They can move him inside, outside. If they want to move him as an edge rusher, they can. But the problem with that is that you can't rely on Thomas Booker and Moro Ojomo to get these constant, and Jordan Davis to get these constant one-on-ones, okay, and beat your one-on-ones. I can't rely on those guys consistently to do that. And Milton Williams is a lot more consistent than the rest of those guys that they have. Jordan Davis, I don't expect him to rush the passer or do any of that, but to clog the hole, and his stats don't go off the wall, but that's what Jordan Davis is here to do. He's here to take on a double to free up Jalen Carter, but it looks like teams are now honing in on Jalen Carter. You take Milton Williams out of there, you ain't getting no pass rush up the middle. It's pretty much, it's not going to happen that much. Milton Williams can get pressure, but Moro Jomo, having him as the first starter next to Carter, or it's Thomas Booker, it's just not going to work. So moving Milton Williams at the edge is probably not the best thing at all. So, that's where we're at with the Milton Williams situation. He had a fantastic, it was like 2 tackles, 2 sacks. I mean, absolutely a strip sack, absolutely fantastic day. So this is another combination they can do, but now I think it makes your DT position a lot weaker. Now you don't have Milton Williams at DT. You put him on the outside, and you're not going to get much movement if Jalen Carter is doubled. We have to find a way to free Jalen Carter. But the problem is you don't have a premier like Nolan Smith. He kind of disappeared this past game. he didn't do much, so he's been more up than down, but he was down last week. I don't know what Nolan Smith did last week. I got to see some tape. I didn't really see much from this game as I watched it. So these are really the big combinations you have right now. If it was up to me, I would run some 5-man fronts once in a while and mix it in with putting Trotter or putting somebody at that edge, somebody during practice this week. I mean, you know what I mean? I don't think it'll take them long to learn it and contain the outside. And I would give Trotter a shot, or Ben Van Sermon, or somebody. I don't know. I don't really trust her. I mean, Teron Jackson, they could take one of these practice squad guys, but I think the main thing right now is to get Jalix Hunt more reps. The Eagles are not going to go out and make moves, which is my next segment here, because I think they just like what they have. Okay, off the street signings is off the street signings, and shout out to Anthony DiBona, fantastic news guy for the Eagles and covers everything for the Eagles and does a fantastic job. His link will be in the description for his X page. Follow him; he does a wonderful job. So the free agents that are available as of right now off the street, okay, Jason Pierre-Paul, Rashid Green, Justin Houston, Kaboko Turi, Shaq Lawson, Frank Clark, Bruce Irvin. Now, Fangio has worked with a few of these guys, but they really have to fit in Philadelphia. I don't know if they're even going to be touching any of these guys. I know Jason Pierre-Paul, there were some teams that had interest this year, and he just never got signed. Okay, Justin Houston's pretty old. Was he like 35? I don't know. I mean, he's up there in age, you know what I mean? So, I mean, how much does he have left in the tank in a rotation? We're not asking for a game changer. We're asking for someone to just give 10% at what Brandon Graham gave. I mean, other than that, that's what we're really getting. So, the move, I mean, this is off the street. They're off the street for a reason, okay? Whether they just don't fit or they're just out of their prime. They're not in their prime anymore. They're not good players anymore. But could they help a team that just needs a little bit of rotation? We're not asking them to do everything. We're just asking for, a little bit of something. Okay, and I think, they could hit this. I don't think they will even touch the free agent targets that are sitting on the street right now. You got some practice squad targets. You have Tack McKinley, hasn't worked out for the Jets. Derek Rivers from Indianapolis. William Bradley King, I don't know who that is. And Boogie Bashman, I have no idea who that is. Okay, let's just get that right. I've heard Shaq Lawson's name thrown around the league. He hasn't done much. Shaq Lawson is the most recent player that has played recently. Some of these guys haven't played in a while, but Shaq Lawson, I think he got let go, last year. He had like a sack. He had 3.5 sacks the year before that, 2 sacks. He's been pretty much a role player. He was a first-round pick from the Buffalo Bills, so Shaq Lawson could be a possibility. But like I said, you're not asking a lot from these guys. You can't ask a lot from these guys because they're off the street. They're not going to give you much. They just need to give you a little bit. You're just asking for a little bit, even if they can get some pressures. Like, that's all we're really asking. They can contain the outside, make some tackles against the run, something like that in that nature. So I feel like as of right now, because of the loss to Brandon Graham, I think they're going to keep everything in-house. Okay, I think injuries happen, and sometimes you're gifted other things because of injuries. And I think pure examples of that, when Jason Peters got hurt in 2017, Halapuli Vaitai was absolutely fantastic. When Darren Sproles got hurt in 17, out for the year, we wouldn't have found out what Corey Clement was if it wasn't for that injury. So sometimes these injuries are a blessing in disguise, even though you don't want these injuries to happen, but somebody could rise up to the occasion. But the problem I have is, dude, don't mess with Jalix Hunt snaps. Why isn't he getting more snaps? You're already down Bryce Huff. So that's what I'm saying. With Bryce Huff coming back in a few weeks and Brandon Graham is out for the year, they got to figure something out. And me, I would try just give Jalix Hunt more reps against the Ravens, and they're going to have to give somebody more reps because you're down two edge rushers now. So Jalix Hunt gets more snaps, or you want to split him with maybe, like I said, Trotter Jr. or something. I'm not really against putting Trotter Jr. on the edge or doing something that matter, using one of your depth linebackers, because if they're just playing special teams all day, let him do some double duty. I don't see why not. I know you want to protect your depth, but I think Trotter Jr. has been waiting for a moment to at least play, and every time he does, he plays pretty good, whether it's a rep or two. But I just want to see more, to see what we have from Trotter Jr., and we could start producing Trotter Jr., not as a linebacker, but we can start producing him. And he's a guy that could probably back up in coverage as well and try to do something. So I don't see why that would be a really big problem right now. But other than that, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about how are you going to handle the Brandon Graham situation. What would you do in the situation? Are you going after a free agent? Are you going after a free agent off the street signing? Are you giving Jalix Hunt more reps? Do you want to use one of our backup linebackers? Let me know in the comment section below. I really want to read what you guys think. And are you saying to yourselves, we don't need anything? Let's just play. Let's just put in some guys and let's just roll with what we have. So, other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more Eagles news every single day. We'll have a live stream tomorrow, and you guys enjoy, or today, I should say, probably while I'm making this video. I don't even know what day it is. Trust me, it's been since the game. I feel like I already worked the day. It's already been crazy. But all right, you guys have a fantastic day, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Shake so it falls out. Peace out, guys. Peace.